Welcome back. This video is going to demonstrate how to correctly remove the gel soak-off polish. This is the area most of our students have issues. Now you will need to remove and reapply the gel polish around every 2 to 3 weeks depending on how quickly your client's nails grow. The only reason it normally needs to be removed is because it's grown out and there's a gap between the cuticle and the start of the polish. As you can see in these hands here, which have been on for about 2 weeks now. The gel polish should not be refilled like acrylic or gel nails. It's a soft gel and it's been specifically designed to be easily removed and reapplied. Gel polish cannot be removed like normal nail polish. It has to be scored and soaked off for an appropriate time using acetone or soak-off solution. You can't just rub it with the acetone to remove it, it won't come off, and you can't use normal nail polish remover to soak it either. Your soak-off solution must be at least 80% acetone based. Further, it also needs some prep work before the soaking begins. So let's have a look at how we do this. I would suggest you start with rubber gloves, especially if you're doing this a lot. You will get a little bit of sensitivity with the acetone on your fingertips all the time. Or as I've shown you in the products and equipment section, you can get one of these little claws to use as well. The first thing we're going to do is to score the nail and break the seal of the top coat so that the acetone can get in and do its job. So just taking a heavier grit file, so a 100 grit file, you're just going to lightly rub over the top of the polish and along the free edge, just to make sure that you've broken the bond of the top coat. Now don't worry if you go right through in a few places like that, as long as you're not eating into the natural nail, that's fine. But don't end up filing most of it off. With the whole idea of this is that it soaks off and it protects the natural nail from heavy abrasives. So please be careful with this step, that you only score the gel. So once we have the gel scored, we've got 2 options here. We've actually got 3 options. You can use a soak-off bowl if you want, but I suggest that you don't do this. This is very harsh on the surrounding cuticle and skin. I would recommend that you use the pre-prepared soak-off pads that we've shown you in the product section, and all you need to do is soak this with acetone and wrap it around the nail, or we can use the cotton wool and foil method, which I've also explained in the product section. Before we are going to put any acetone near the nail, we are going to protect the surrounding cuticles with some Vaseline. So just normal Vaseline on a cotton bud, and you're just going to put it just around the cuticle and the skin. So anywhere that you think that the acetone is likely to go. Making sure, of course, that you don't get it on the nail, or it's going to stop the acetone from getting in and loosening the polish from the nail plate. Once it's covered with Vaseline and protected, just take your acetone. We'll start with a soak-off pad. So I'm just going to drench the little cotton area of the pad with some acetone. Lay that straight over the nail. And then wrap the whole thing. Making sure that it's nice and tight. So squeeze that foil in to make sure that it's nice and tight and that that pad is sitting right on the nail. If you're going to do it with your cotton wool, just break your cotton wool in half. Again, drench it with your acetone. Lay it on top of the nail. And just take your foil square and again, just wrap it tight around the nail. And then that needs to be left on to soak for about 12 to 15 minutes. So once your required time is up, now I've left these for about 10 minutes, we'll see how they go. There are some polishes on the market that will come off a little bit earlier. You might get 7 or 8 minutes before they come off. So you'll need to play around with the time a little bit depending on what the product is that you're using. So to remove, you're just simply going to rub the top of the nail and pull the soak off pad off, and you can see that most of this polish has come off. And what hasn't come off has really been loosened quite well from the nail, so it's going to be very easy to remove. Now, with anything that's left on the nail, all you need to do now is take the flat end of a cuticle stick and you're just going to just scrape the rest of that polish off. Now, some people will use the metal cuticle pusher at this point. I don't recommend it because it's too easy to scrape the nail plate. The orange wood stick is much gentler. So you're just going to go along and you're just going to easily remove. You can see how easily that's coming off. If you've got some stubborn bits, you can always put your solution back on for a couple of minutes. I wouldn't bother in a case like this. I would just work away with it with my orange wood stick. Then for just any little leftover bits that are on the nail, just get a block buffer and you can just gently remove those from the nail plate, and you have a nice clean nail ready either to use some oil and some nail hardener if you're going to give them a break, or to reapply the polish. Although most gel polish manufacturers will guarantee their product does not damage the natural nail, anyone who has continuously used one of these products will see some softening of the natural nail. Now, this can be caused just by the nail being constantly coated, but more likely a drying of the natural nail from the acetone or soak-off solution. So I recommend every second or third removal to oil the nails and leave them polish free for about 48 hours or longer if you can, just to give the nails a chance to recuperate. You might even want to use some nail strengthener for a couple of days just to get them back into shape, but make sure you remove it before you reapply your gel polish. If you are going to be reapplying the gel polish and you have oiled the nails, you will need to wash the hands to remove the oil. You'll need to prepare the cuticles again and follow all of the application steps again. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, please leave them below and I'll get back to you personally.